Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Today is Tuesday, September 20th, 2016. Tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show so I can give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Also, this channel is not for the combative and the emotional type topics. We keep it positive here. So no drama, and please be respectful. If you have a business or a topic that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. Please feel free to comment, but make sure that your comments are pithy. In other words, stay on topic. No bloviating if you wish to opine. Now on to this evening's topic. It's the buy here, pay here used car businesses. And what is a buy here, pay here used car business? It's exactly what the name suggests. It's a dealership that finances car loans itself rather than using banks or finance companies. They market to people with low income and bad credit that can't qualify for conventional financing. In return for agreeing to finance borrowers that don't have access to mainstream credit, the buy here, pay here dealers drastically inflate their prices, their vehicles, and charge very high interest rates. They agree to payment arrangements that they know customers aren't going to honor. And they use aggressive tactics to repossess the car. And once they repossess it, they sell it more than two times. In other words, they sell it as many times as they can, and this is where they make a lot of revenue for a car that they marked up. Because the high interest rates, and the customer is not going to be able to afford the car. For the most part, a lot of these customers need cars. And when you get in desperate times, you make impulsive decisions. So here's some tips if you're considering buying a car from a buy here, pay here lot. Number one, decide, do you really need to buy from them? Obviously, if you're considering a buy here, pay here dealership, you've decided that you need a vehicle and have been rejected by many conventional lenders. But consider whether you need to buy a car at this time, or if you do, would you be better buying it from a private person? In other words, you just buy it outright. You don't have to worry about down payments. Because usually if you're going to buy a car and you have bad credit, you have to pay a larger down payment, because you're going to pay a higher interest rate anyway. This would solve your transportation problems if you would go to a regular dealer and pay a higher down payment, or just pay outright from a private dealer. Do your homework on the prices too, because the buy here, pay here dealers know that you're desperate. They often inflate the list price over the vehicle's Kelley Blue Book value. Now, here's what you need to do. Go buy a Kelley Blue Book. They sell them at all Advanced Auto, O'Reilly, I think it's O'Reilly's, Napa, all your parts stores. This is where you got to do your homework. See what your vehicle's worth, and then once you go and purchase a vehicle, you have reference in your hand. And this is what a lot of us don't do, particularly as African Americans. We don't take imperial data and utilize it because it doesn't fit our narrative. We got to learn how to read and educate ourselves if we want to understand how this system works, particularly buying a car. Now, understand the interest rate. Interest rates are inflated when you go buy these cars. So, if the contract says 12% and you end up paying 20%, you didn't read the contract. Make sure you sign on a dotted line when it comes to the APR, and after everything has been calculated, that your interest rate is what it says. Don't walk out of the car dealership, and then when you get the bill in the mail, you're paying more than what the contract said. That means you didn't read the contract. Be sure you can afford the monthly payment. In other words, take a spreadsheet, calculate all of your bills that you have currently. And if you find that you can't afford it, don't buy it. Because let me tell you something too about credit. When you put inquiries on your credit report, particularly if you go on the car dealers, well, that lowers your FICO score. And that hurts you from getting a car as well. So you have to be very careful when you are having creditors check your credit report. But the main thing is, make sure that you have common sense, you have everything else paid up, and you can afford the payment. Also, when you buy a car, make sure that the agreement is fair to your specifications. Also, don't believe what they're going to tell you about refinancing and trading up. Buy here, pay here dealers, they don't care. They want to pressure you into the purchase, even if the car doesn't work well. So inspect the car, pull the hood up. Even if you don't know anything about spark plug wires, check your engine. You can pull the oil stick out to make sure that the oil is clean. Also, see if they offer a Carfax. This is where you can blow the car dealers, particularly scavengers, out of the water. Because first of all, let me tell you where they get the cars from. Okay, I know when I lived in Pennsylvania, when they had Hurricane Sandy, these cars got flooded. So a lot of the car dealers were buying these cars from larger markets, such as GM. I mean, the inventory got flooded. So the dealers, the smaller dealers, we call them the jackleg dealers, they bought them at auctions, as is. So what's happened, they're going to sell you a car as is. Now, if you have a warranty, it's going to be 30 days or 1,000 miles. And we're going to get into that in the future. Are extended warranties worth having when it comes to a car? Also depends on the year. But make sure you inspect the car thoroughly. Check the treads on the tires. If you have to, check everything with the emissions. If you have to take a rag, put it in exhaust. Make sure that's clean as well. Because when you drive a car off the lot, you need to know whether it's safe to drive that car. So that's another thing. Also, if you live in some states, make sure it can pass emissions and inspection. Ask the car dealer of this buy here, pay here dealer who inspects your cars. Because sometimes they don't do their own inspection. They send their cars out to be inspected. Lastly, don't expect them to work with you even when you fall on hard times. Because their job is to push you into buying a car at their interest rate so they can come repossess the car. That's where they make money. Now, let me go over the breakdown again so you'll know. Here's 6 items that you need to follow when you buy a car from a buy here, pay here, used car dealer. Number 1, decide whether you need to buy from them. Number 2, do your homework on the purchase price. Number 3, review the interest rate carefully. Number 4, be sure you can afford the monthly payment. And number 5, don't believe what they're going to tell you about refinancing and trading up. Number 6, don't expect them to work with you when you fall behind on your payments. If you follow all of those items that I gave you, you'll be in good shape, and it'll help you make decisions when you buy a car. Another thing to tell you, go ahead, get your Kelly Blue Book. They do sell them. I've seen them at O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Napa, Advanced Auto. Keep that handy with you. Another thing I forgot to tell you, and I'm going to mention it. See the last time the car had maintenance. In other words, when was the oil change? When were the spark plugs changed? When were the tires changed? Those are other items when you buy a used car. Look at the odometer as well. Make sure that the car doesn't have a lot of miles on it. Now, you also have some individuals that try to set the odometer back. So, follow those items that I gave you. Help you keep more money in your pocket. And if you don't need a car right now, save your money. Because in the end, there are just some days that God doesn't have it in the plans for you to get a car. Use your mind and not your heart. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's my commentary for this evening's edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones, and remember to be gentle and respectful to each other. Have a wonderful and blessed evening. Good night.